How you doing, Cody?
I am great, brother. Good to see you.
Good. You too, man. Yeah, it's awesome being able to hop on here and talk at this. I know we've been talking about it for a while, so super excited for you to ask me to come on here. So I guess I'll just let it rip.
Dude, I love it, man. Why don't you share a little bit about your background real quick for those that don't why the heck you're in Brazil and what kind of like volume you've put up to just add some. Again,
Yeah,
thank you for
for
being
sure.
here.
Yeah, of course, dude, for sure. Thanks everyone for hopping on here. It's event like these and getting involved in the industry itself and the events that are going on in the industry within your own organization itself. That's what helps elevate this thing to the next level. These events are phenomenal. If you just get two events, two snippets from every single event that you go to, success is kind of like taking one piece of paper, and every time you leave your kitchen, your house, you put one piece of paper on the kitchen counter, right? After a week, after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you ain't going to see too much. But a few months goes by, a year goes by, 2 years go by, you got a freaking tree growing in your kitchen, right? So consistently tuning into events like this are what's going to really elevate your business to that next level. So props to you, all you guys and gals, for hopping on here. It's awesome to see so many folks on here getting involved. But anyway, for anyone that doesn't know me, my name is Dan Chernati. I've been over at Family First Life. I'm a vice president over there. Been there for about 2.5 years. So just giving you guys a quick background so you know, hey, who the heck is this guy? Yes, I'm sitting down here in Brazil right now. I'm 28. I come from a small family farm in New Jersey. I did the whole, hey, let's go to school route for a while. I thought originally I wanted to be a doctor. And then I was like, okay, I hate school. I'm not going to go to that much more school. So, hey, a year went by. So, hey, let's go tune that down to physical therapy. So, all right, well, it's still going to be a lot of school. So I tuned that down. Let's go health sciences. So I graduated with a health science degree, figured out that, hey, with a health science degree, I'm not going to be able to pay off my student loans at the end of it. So my brilliant idea was that, hey, let's go to grad school. So I went to grad school, Wake Forest, got a business degree. And at the time I got what I thought was a really cool, like sexy corporate job, working in corporate America. I was a data analyst. I thought I made it, right? You made it to that next level. There's one of the biggest reasons I took that job for me was travel. I was living over in Australia for a good bit, Cody. I lived in the Middle East, Southeast Asia. I got to explore a lot of cool places of the world. But it just got to a point where I was doing it for someone else. And there was one point I love the company. I love the people there. So I'm not talking bad about it at all. It was a great experience. But there was a point where one of my boss goes, hey, dude, you're doing a great job. You keep working really, really hard for the next 10 to 15 years of your life. And there's no doubt you're going to crush it over here. I'm like, bro, it's going to take me how freaking long to get there? Like, no, thanks. Like, I don't know about you, Cody, but you're probably similar. I've always been like the kid growing up. It's got these crazy ideas. Like, hey, let's go do this, go do that. And I was like jumping into stuff, figuring out, hey, what can I do to really get ahead? And so I started real estate companies. I've had a few houses, rental properties, stole stuff on Amazon, really the whole shebang. And I forget who it was telling me one time, he goes, Dan, financial freedom is like a bridge. If the people that are building 7 different bridges, it's actually taking away from the time it takes just to build one, right? And I saw insurance as a way to helping people. And back in January 2020, or a little bit before that, I got my license. I helped out a few families. And a few days later, I was paid. So I didn't know if it was real at the time. So I went out I went out to like dinner to use my debit card to say, hey, is this money actually real? Interesting. You're saying I can make what in a matter of hours where I'm slaving away at my corporate job for 2 weeks to get the same paycheck? And I feel empowered to do stuff over here on my time, my schedule, and been rocking and rolling ever since. I put the 2 weeks notice in, I cleaned up shop where I was at. And I spent the first year and a half, really figuring out how the system works. And since September, so now it's May 10th. So coming up on quite a bit of time here now. I spent about a total of 21 days in the United States. I've been living in Mexico, Colombia, Argentina. I was just there for about 2 months. If you ever need recommendations, I got plenty of them. Awesome spots down there. And now I've been hanging out. I'm in Brazil, and I got about another month or so here. And June 6th comes around, I'll be back in the States for about a month, selling all my stuff that I own in the States and going full virtual. So now my first 2 years, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of credibility, I put about 1,000 applications in just over my first 2 years in the business. And, recently still to put about 30, 50 in a week, doing it virtually. So I hope to share a decent bit with you guys here in terms of what not to do, and just some basic expectations. So this is obviously a learning curve. I'm not a big plan B kind of guy. Cody, you probably know that. My version of a plan B is if you got a plan B, your plan A is to fail. So that's why I got a one-way ticket. Say, hey, I'm going to go figure this sucker out. I'm going to figure out how to do virtual sales. Don't really know what I'm doing, but heck, by the time I figure out everything, it's going to be too late. I'm going to be 65 years young and not going to be able to do this anymore. So I'm like, hey, let's go figure it out. So hopefully that wasn't too much long-winded, but yeah, there's a little background.
That is phenomenal. I'm a fan of your work. You're absolutely crushing it. I appreciate you being here all the way while you're in Brazil. And please feel free to take it away. Our first speaker of Selling Life Insurance, Mr. Dan Chernati.
Cool. I appreciate it. Thanks again, everyone, for hopping on here. So what I want to cover with you guys today is just some basic, first off, why virtual? Why would you add virtual to your repertoire? Who's it good for? Who's it not good for at the same time? And understanding who we are, going over some basic expectations. And hey, we're going to get the virtual game up and going, what are some expectations that you can have as you're going into the virtual space? If you're transitioning, if you're a new agent, just basic expectations. And we'll also go over schedule. What does my schedule look like? And I'm not saying anything's perfect, just going over what I've done to have success here in the virtual space. I'll go over briefly how to get the clients to show up for the appointment. This might be the number one challenge that I've had getting this thing rocking and rolling, is making sure that the clients actually show up. What I've realized after that is a lot of it's actually pretty similar. So put a few processes in place to get you guys up to speed on how to actually get the clients showing up for their appointment. Some basic in-home tips that I use from a Zoom perspective that could also help out with actually just in-person, in-home as well. And just some basic recommendations. Hey, if you're looking to get going into the virtual space, what are some basic recommendations that you should be actually implementing in your business? Or if you're experienced, what are some things that you can actually do to take that business to that next level? So first off, why virtual, right? I love virtual. For me personally, it allows me to travel the world when I want to. It's also great for single parents, non-single parents, people that are raising children together, anyone that really wants to take control of their schedule and their time to do whatever you want to do, when you want to do it, from wherever you want to do. We have people within the company that are renting out a camper and going across the United States of America with their kids, right? I don't know any better opportunity than insurance to actually go out there and capitalize on the opportunity that we have at hand. But who is virtual actually not good for as well? And I almost fell into this category too. And it's good to actually know that. For personal preference, I don't have brand new agents getting started on the virtual side of things. And we'll go through that a little bit more here in the coming minutes we got. People who like the go grind. It's not probably, the virtual side will probably not be good. It's going to be a little bit more downtime at your house. People who also go stir crazy. That's something that I actually had to find out the hard way. For the first time I was getting into the virtual side of things, I was just sitting behind my desk, which is the exact reason I got out of my corporate job. One of the reasons I got out of it was I was tired of sitting behind a desk, just crunching numbers on a computer all day long, right? So that is also another thing that you might want to look at. If you're stir crazy, probably not going to be good for you. And also lazy. If you're a lazy person, virtual is not going to be good because it's so easy to get no-showed, sit on the couch and eat potato chips and put on a show with Netflix, right? When out in the field, it's going to be totally different. So if you are a little bit lazy, know that, right? I think we're all innately a little bit lazy, but we got to understand, hey, if that's us, if we see us sitting, on our butts watching Netflix on a no-show, get your butt out in the field. Zoom's not going to be ready for you quite yet. So everything that we're going to share from here on out, so we'll start with expectations. It's just my experiences, right? The good, the bad, the ugly, some tips to get your game up. And just keep in mind, this is always a work in progress, right? We're always striving to get better at this thing, learn from each other. So super excited to learn from the other panelists we got on here today, and just other experts within the entire industry, right? So get yourselves out there, keep getting to events that helps us learn along the whole process. So some basic expectations. And I always want to start off personally saying, for me, that in-home is king. I like in-home the best when it comes to ROI. I love the lifestyle that comes with the virtual side of things. Just giving you guys all an example here. So I still kind of live in Jacksonville, Florida, over in Jacksonville Beach, Florida. And over in Jacksonville Beach, Florida, I set an appointment with the lady. I think it was back in December when I was home for a little bit. And when I was sitting at home in Jacksonville, Florida, I'm sorry, I said that a few times here. I think you guys get the point. I live in Jacksonville. I set an appointment at 6:00 and I showed up and the lady was a complete B when I got to the door. She was not very receptive, but I was able to get in. and help her out. I was able to put her in a much better position, almost double her coverage for the same price and get her immediate coverage. She was thanking me by the time I walked out the door. That's not going to happen on Zoom, right? So obviously I'm going to walk away from a little bit of that. But personally, I love the lifestyle and just also the flexibility that Zoom also gives. Some other expectations getting into Zoom. The no-show rates can be higher at the beginning. I'm not saying they're going to be higher in the long run, but just like, when we're a new agent going out in the field, the no-show rates might be a little bit higher. So we'll talk today also about how to actually maximize that, how to get the show rate a little bit better. So personally, I have it sitting right around 70%. We'll go over some leads. Who do I target? I typically shoot for aged mortgage protection leads, anywhere from a few weeks to a year old. That's what I'm going to do. And I need some more leads. When I'm going over Zoom expectations, I'm going to need a few more leads to set the same amount of appointments personally, because I know I'm going to have a few more no-shows. And also just one thing on the back end too that I use a system called Burner. It's a little app that you can get on your phone. I think it's like $5, $10, $15 a month. Make sure you do download that. It gives you 3 different numbers that you can use at all times. You can get Sideline, Google Voice. Make sure you always have a bunch of different phone numbers that you can actually start dialing from. Going over lifestyle real quick, just in terms of expectation. What's the good part about the lifestyle side of things, right? Personally, I'm sitting down here in Brazil, traveling the world. Right. That's awesome. You guys, can enjoy new cultures, whatever you want to do. For parents, you can take care of the kids and work at the same exact time, right? There's plenty of people that have their little kids sitting on their lap as they're in an appointment, right? That is actually so cool. It shows us that we're all human. But what's some bad stuff about the lifestyle part of things that I had to get accustomed to? And for me, it was very actually lonely at the beginning. Right. When we're going out there in the field, we're sitting with people, you get no-show, you go to a gas station, you go to a restaurant, out to eat, whatever it is, you're seeing people throughout the day. Sometimes on Zoom, you got to make sure you got a process in place, because it can get lonely if you don't have a team environment over the phone. You're going to be sitting behind your desk all day long having appointments. That can be very lonely at the beginning, and it's very easy to get lazy when that happens. So as you get used to that, you find different ways to put processes in place to make sure, hey, you do have that team environment. I'm sure a lot of people on here, they got Zoom dial sessions where they're dialing from, they're doing Zoom appointments to let the whole team know, hey, we got a support system in place here. So quickly, what we'll go over next is schedule. Schedule is one of the biggest things that I had to make a little bit of a tweak in terms of what I did to get myself ramped up on the virtual side of things. So all the time, what I recommend for agents is what's called a goal-based schedule, right? Coming from a W-2 background where I'm getting a paycheck every Friday to 1099, one of the biggest things we preach on is a goal-based schedule. How fast can we get our 30 appointments in? And we always judge it based off activity, knowing that, hey, if we get the activity in, the results are going to come. So how fast can I get 30 appointments in? If I can get that done Monday through Wednesday, cool. Then I got Thursday through Sunday, I'm chilling. If my 30 appointments if I don't get them by Friday, I'm working on the weekends, right? So I always want to make sure, hey, how fast can I get my activity in to progress this thing as fast as possible? So what I do, I always book appointments on Zoom the same day or next day, right? So today is Tuesday, or every morning between about 8 and 9:30 in the morning, I block that off. And I am only going to be dialing from the same day or the next day. So like yesterday, Monday, where I'm going to dial for about an hour and a half, 2 hours in the morning, potentially a little bit more since the first day of the week. I got to really kick things off. I'm going to set about 5-6 appointments for the rest of that Monday. And then again, about 5-6 appointments again for Tuesday. Tuesday morning rolls around. I'm going to see if I can fill up any of the same day appointments that I missed on Monday and get the Wednesday filled out. So that's what I'm going to do. Rinse and repeat. So every day is a dial day in terms of schedule. And then also no-shows, right? No-shows are going to be a great time to get back on the phone and start dialing. When I first got involved in Zoom, I didn't maximize that. And I was like, oh, well, guess I'm going to go eat, go walk my dog, go wash the dishes. All the stuff that we teach agents not to do on a dial day, I was doing it. It's so easy when you're sitting at home. So just make sure you have the process in place. And hey, when I'm at my desk, I am working here. And you might actually have to work a little bit harder. If you needed 30 appointments in the field to hit your goals, you're probably going to need a few more when it comes to Zoom, because you will work with a few more no-shows at the beginning.
Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're going to love. It's right there. Click on it. See you in there. So we've had a lot of unlicensed agents finding us, following our stuff, or newly licensed, just joining the business, and you're thinking like, dude, what is the life insurance career like? What's an insurance career like overall? Well, I want you to think about the vision.